Every one of us has wondered, God, are you still working where I can't see you? Maybe you've prayed. Maybe you've waited. Maybe you've watched doors close while wondering if heaven has forgotten your address. But what if the greatest miracles aren't the ones that happen suddenly? What if the greatest miracles are the ones quietly unfolding behind the scenes while you're simply being faithful? Welcome to Beyond Belief, the podcast where we discover that faith isn't about escaping reality. It's about seeing God at work in it. Today, we're stepping into one of the most beautiful love stories in Scripture. Not because it's romantic, but because it's about something far greater. It's about divine guidance, unseen providence, and the God who is already writing tomorrow while you're still living today. So take a deep breath, slow down, and let's discover what Genesis 24 teaches us about trusting the author of our story. Have you ever looked back on your life and realized what I thought was coincidence was actually God? Sometimes God doesn't split seas. Sometimes He arranges meetings. He guides conversations. He opens doors. He delays plans. He moves ordinary people into extraordinary places. Genesis 24 isn't just a love story. It's a story about the invisible fingerprints of God. There have been seasons in my own life where I desperately wanted answers. I wanted God to tell me exactly what was next. Instead, He asked me to trust Him. And honestly, that's harder. Because we'd rather have certainty than faith. Yet, looking back, I discovered something. God was working hardest when I thought He was silent. Maybe you've discovered that too. Isn't that true for all of us? We want a map. God gives us the next step. We want tomorrow. God gives us today. We want explanations, and God gives us His presence. And somewhere between what we expect and what God is doing, faith begins to grow. Faith grows strongest when certainty disappears. Genesis 24 begins with Abraham. He's old. The promises of God had been fulfilled through Isaac. But another promise remains. Isaac needs a wife. Abraham doesn't panic. He doesn't manipulate. He trusts. He sends his servant on what seems like an impossible mission. Imagine the responsibility. Find the right woman in another country, without photographs, without social media, without even knowing her name. Only God could make this happen. When the servant finally arrives, he doesn't begin by searching. He begins by praying. Lord, show me. And that's what changes everything. Because before he looked for God's answer, he sought God's heart. Sometimes we're searching for direction when God is inviting us into deeper dependence. The servant asks for a sign, a woman who offers water, not only to him, but also for his camels. That wasn't a small request. 10 thirsty camels could drink hundreds of liters of water. This wasn't about politeness. It revealed character. Before he finishes praying, Rebekah appears. Not dramatically, not with lightning, not with fanfare. Just an ordinary young woman doing ordinary things, who happened to be standing exactly where God's plan required it. Sometimes your greatest appointment with God doesn't even look supernatural. It looks ordinary. Because heaven often hides miracles inside ordinary moments. Pause for a moment. What if the delay you've been frustrated by has actually been divine preparation? What if God isn't absent? He's arranging. Notice something incredible. The servant doesn't interrupt. He watches. Scripture says he remained silent, waiting, observing. Sometimes spiritual maturity isn't learning how to speak. It's learning how to wait. That might be one of the hardest lessons for us, because we live in a world that celebrates instant answers. God often works through patient trust. Waiting isn't wasted when God is working. Think about this. While Abraham was praying, while Isaac was waiting, while the servant was traveling, while Rebekah was drawing water, God was connecting every single detail. None of them could see the whole picture, but God could. Isn't that our story too? We see one page. God is writing an entire book. Maybe today you're waiting for direction, waiting for healing, waiting for a relationship, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a breakthrough. Genesis 24 reminds us that waiting with God is never the same as waiting without Him. God's delays are not His absence. His silence is not His rejection. His timing is never accidental. The same God who guided Abraham's servant is guiding your steps today, even when you don't feel it, even when you can't explain it. Near the end of Genesis 24, Isaac lifts his eyes and Rebekah lifts hers. Two lives, shaped by God's unseen hand, finally meet. Neither of them knew everything God had been doing, but God knew. And maybe, one day, you'll look back over your own life and realize the closed doors, the unexpected conversations, the painful endings, the delayed answers weren't that random at all. They were quiet handwriting of a faithful God. God is never late. He's already standing in the tomorrow you're worried about today. Remember these three truths. First, God works behind the scenes. Secondly, faith often grows in waiting. And finally, ordinary obedience opens extraordinary doors. This week, instead of asking, God, where are you? Try asking, God, where are you already working? That one question could change the way you see your entire life. May you have eyes to see God's hand in ordinary moments. May you trust Him when answers are delayed. May you walk faithfully even when you cannot see the destination. May your waiting become worship. May your uncertainty become confidence. And may you discover that the author of your story has never once put down his pen. Thank you for joining me on Beyond Belief. If today's episode encouraged you, share it with someone who is waiting on God, because sometimes hope arrives through a simple conversation. Until next time, keep looking beyond what you can see and keep trusting the God who is already writing the next chapter. Your life may feel like it's on pause, but heaven is still writing the story. God bless.